on Salvage Hunters. At an estate built with shipping money, it's antiques ahoy in a disused basement.
Oh, yeah. You got a pair of them.
Definitely two. There might be three.
Really?
Yeah,
You just made my day.
At a cathedral in Scotland, Drew's salvage prayers are answered.
These are lovely.
Well, they are. They're quite unusual, aren't they?
The more I look at them, the better they get, actually. So.
And at a palatial pad in South Yorkshire, Drew finds himself in antiques heaven.
Oh, look at that.
I think Drew likes your house. I think we might be here some time too.
Drew Pritchard is one of Britain's leading decorative salvage dealers.
Well, that's pretty spectacular. Oh, God, they're fantastic. Beautiful.
He's
It's like an adventure playground for antique dealers.
in his hunt for treasure. He bargains hard.
$9.50.
It's too much money.
You're on for 600 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
And there's nothing he won't buy.
Oh, yeah, look at that. I love him.
With help from Rebecca
That's
Modern
really
flat.
cool.
Nice, isn't it?
I love it.
and a team of renovators, he transforms thousands of items, from junk to gems.
Have you sold anything?
Yeah, that's a lovely cup of tea.
What have you sold?
Just stuff.
You haven't sold
No, I
anything?
haven't.
No. Unbelievable. I'll be in my office, not enjoying myself.
At Drew Pritchard's HQ in Wales, the shelves are stacked with the historical items that Drew knows his customers love. But as with most time-worn antiques, they need a little love from expert
We finished.
Antiques with great authenticity and a known history can be good sellers and play a key part in Drew's business.
You sold it? Yeah. Where's it going to?
It's going to America.
Is it? Do you remember that I sort of got a specialist to look at this piece of fabric?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it transpired that, as we put on the website, 17th to 18th century Italian.
Yes.
So that provenance gave Drew an extra profit of probably about £250.
History is everything. It will add to the story long term. One thing I do have a great passion for are beautiful items that are well designed, that speak of a particular area of the past. By going to historical houses.
And those chances are improved as Drew sets off nearly 130 miles east to South Yorkshire in search of items with impeccable provenance at a stately home with centuries of history.
Thomas Crapper was born around here.
No.
Yeah. And without Thomas Crapper, you wouldn't have an alternative word to call your stock.
You kid.
Lying just north of Doncaster is Houghton Bagnall Hall. Steeped in history, the earliest part of the present house dates from the 13th century, but has been subject to many additions and alterations over the years. The house was used as a military hospital during the First World War, and Drew knows relics from that era sell well.
And it's big. I mean, look, it just goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
I know what's going in your head.
What?
The restoration there, the workshop there.
And I just fill every other shed with cars.
Current owner Mark Ward Norbury is turning the hall into a wedding venue and, wanting to clear out some of the old furniture, has called in Drew.
Well, I think it's going to be really exciting because hopefully he'll be pulling out some interesting things for us to have a look at and shed some light on. There's often history attached, but at the same time we recognise that you do have to move things on because, you know, it's sitting there and it's getting dusty and cobwebby and you're not being appreciated by anybody. So actually to give something a new lease of life, I think is a very positive thing, rather than just leaving it sitting there gathering dust for another 100 years.
Mark, hello. This is lovely. Can we have a look inside? Get out of the rain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Come on through.
Well, this certainly looks the part, doesn't it? Wow. It's a weird mix of styles, isn't it?
Very
It works, but it's all over the
Where
place.
does it split then? Is it a
Yeah.
definite?
Is that the oldest bit there?
Yes,
That
that's
side?
the old
And then,
part.
should we carry on having a look around?
Please do.
You just want to see the Georgian bit, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Never been in this area of the country in my life. Stunning. Oh, this is a nice room. It's like a path of architectural styles. You can go, right, okay, so now we've got a little bit of sort of Romanesque, you've got then a little bit of Gothic, and then you've got, Georgian, you've got Victorian, industrial building sort of architecture here as well from the 18th and 19th century. It's a real mix, but it's like a book. You can read the house.
Has many more treasures tucked away upstairs.
Ooh, look at this. Oh, hello. Love the bears. Yeah, Black Forest bears. Oh, you've got loads of them. Oh, that's a belter. I've never seen one stood on his hands before. Oh, look at that. Oh,
I think Drew likes your house.
that's gorgeous. Beautiful thing. Very early 19th century. Fabulous thing. Not for sale.
No, we need something to keep all the family photographs.
It's a shame I can't buy that. I don't blame him. You know, why would you want to move that from there? It's perfect. I think it's going to sit there for another 100 years. So where are we off to next, then?
So we're going to go through here to the tower room.
Okay. Oh, yes. This has just got... So this is all stuff to go, potentially?
Yes,
Really?
absolutely.
You want to get rid of this stuff?
This is all fair game. Prayer beads, is it?
Rosary, yeah. Lovely, isn't it? Oh, beautiful. I've been into hundreds of rooms like this, you know, that have been untouched and they're full of stuff. That one's really exciting. That was just like, oh my word, look at that, look at that, look at that. See, these old wall hangings and rugs, I mean, they can just... You can find some little gems amongst these sometimes. There was such a breadth and a mix of styles and countries that this stuff sort of mask. Witch doctor's mask. Look at the age in that. Look at that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Do you know where that's from?
I don't. I guess it's Africa, but I may be completely wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was more Indian.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so, with the cobras on it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'll just go and have a look in there.
Yeah, do. I think that was Have a New Home.
So that's a First World War hospital flag.
Yeah.
I thought it was a George Cross flag, so we open it up and it's actually a Red Cross flag. So that must have come, so we can date that. That's during the First World War. And it's tatty and worn and threadbare and of large size. So it's a great decorator piece with a lovely history.
This hand-stitched Hessian flag dates from the First World War of 1914 to 1918. The Red Cross was adopted at the First Geneva Convention in 1864 as a neutral protective sign for those helping the victims of conflict. A red cross on a white background being the exact reverse of the Swiss flag. This example could be worth around 250.
Would 100 quid buy it? So I can't really go any more than that.
Okay. Can't get a bit more out of it?
120, that'd be it. So it'll be done.
Yes, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Marvellous.
Okay.
Lovely.
A Red Cross flag that needs treatment.
It's quite ironic. For moths, just in case.
Items from the estate's past have been gathering up here for decades, so there's plenty for Drew to sift through.
Look at those, they're just a great bit of fun, aren't they? A bit of state, but aren't they fun?
I think I can remember sitting on theirs as a young child.
Is that Peter Rabbit?
It is.
For kids, you know, for kids' bedroom. God, they're great. Love it. They're so cute. They're so cute. They're so saleable. So saleable. They're only 3 bits of plywood. There's multiple interests in this. You know, they're cute little things.
This pair of 1950s plywood children's chairs were used by Mark as a child and used to sit in the nursery. Shaped using a handsaw and constructed with traditional butt hinges, they have a hand-painted finish. While only around 60 years old, the connection to historic children's writer Beatrix Potter increases their value, meaning they could be worth around £350.
Well, I really like the Peter Rabbit chairs. They need a ton of work. They've got bits all over the place, but they could be restored. What I'm wondering, for these, in their current state, 150?
Can we go to 200?
Salvage Supremo Drew Pritchard is at Houghton Pagnell Hall in Yorkshire, a stately home dating back to the 13th century. He's rifling through a room crammed with items from the estate's past, aiming to find historical items to add to his website.
There's Asian, there's Japanese, there's Chinese, there's all sorts of stuff in this one little tiny room. And it's all real odd things. Nothing's normal. It's a real strange thing.
Drew's bidding on a pair of 1950s painted Beatrix Potter children's chairs.
Well, I really like the Peter Rabbit chairs. They need a ton of work. They've got bits all over the place, but they could be restored. What I'm wondering, for these, in their current state, 150?
Can we go to 200? There's two of them.
I think
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll have a
let's
deal
do
on
180.
I very, very rarely buy children's size furniture. It doesn't really have a mass market for it. But these chairs are an exception to the rule. Because of the hand painting, because of the subject matter, and because there's a pair, makes them very saleable. Friendly Society of Glastonbury.
Oh, wow.
Wow. 1911. Wardle Oldman. Frickley Hall, Doncaster.
Yeah. I don't know how that got here.
That's fab. Boring thing, really, isn't it? To stick with a brass and oak acorn on the end. But the label changes it. The label puts it at a place in time. It puts all of its history together. And it's really nice, and everybody knows Glastonbury as well. Do you want to sell it?
I didn't even know it was there, so yes.
Oh, it's excellent.
It'd be good for it to
Yeah.
maybe find its way back to Glastonbury.
They're joined by a common financial or social purpose. Members used to carry poles like this in parades around their West England villages. The staves would carry emblems, the acorn on this example indicating longevity. With the label adding to its provenance, it could be worth around £225.
£75?
Yes, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Today was really good fun. It was like going to a little miniature antique fair all of my own, where I was able to wander around and buying nice little bits. We got nice provenance with nearly all of the pieces we got today. Great mix. Didn't spend a great deal of money, but we did buy profit on every single thing and fun. No big ticket items today.
Times where he was looking at things, and I thought he was looking at something completely different, and suddenly his eye got drawn in a completely different, something completely unexpected.
Sorted, T.
Yeah, all in.
Nice easy one for you.
Yeah.
Nothing too heavy.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you.
It's a
Pleasure. Really
Very
good
good.
stuff.
With the van loaded, the boys set off back to Wales.
What did we spend? Under £1,000.
Yeah.
And bought a load of bits. I love the little Peter Rabbit chairs.
Do you?
You think they're sinister, don't you?
There's something just
I
a
can't
little
see
bit
it.
strange about them.
You think so?
It might mean they sell a lot quicker.
Look at these. Can you just make up some more pegs like this, Gav? Give them a polish. Job done. Bosh. Cast iron. Solid gold. Profit.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
Cool, huh?
They've lasted well.
No, look at these two. Completely dumbfounded. No.
Well, you like them. There's not a lot of work to do.
Staff of the Friendly Society of Glastonbury bought in Wells in 1911.
Frickley Hall.
Frickley Hall, Doncaster. So whatever you do, this is worth naff all, really,
Don't lose that.
without that. No pressure.
The Glastonbury stuff, Drew has only bought because of the label. Otherwise, it's just a stick with a very funny acorn sitting on the top, and it really hasn't got much value. That tag says it all.
Red Cross.
Red Cross.
Dr. Bernardo's.
The house, during and after the First World War, was a military hospital for the injured soldiers. So this would have been flying from the house. So it's got a fabulous history. We know exactly where it's for, all
Where
the
it's
states,
from.
everything. It's just lovely. Great thing, isn't it?
It's absolutely a wonderful piece. The flag is actually an epitome of what Drew loves about antiques. Most people might look at it and go, well, it's a load of tat. But it's not. It's time-worn. It's got history. It's perfect.
Nice bit of social history.
Yeah, that was it from them.
Yeah.
Medium wash.
Medium wash.
Don't put it in the wash, whatever you do, there won't be anything left
You
of
can
it.
keep this in the office.
Yeah, it's nice. Just
Unloaded, Gav gets straight to work on the chairs. Having been used by children and then discarded in an attic room, they fall into some disrepair, and Gav will need to work on making them usable again.
I need to make 6 of these. As you can see, they're missing. They're a bit creepy, these are a bit weird. Looks kind of sinister, the rabbit, like he's done something wrong. Freaky.
Next, he tries to match the paint to the original, using a mix he's created in the workshop.
Luckily enough, it's not far away. Once it's dry, we'll just dirty it up a bit with a bit of wax and it should match perfectly. Done.
They're finished and ready to be enjoyed for another 60 years.
Had a tough life outdoors.
Rebecca wants to find out more about the history of Houghton Pagnell Hall as a military hospital when it was run by Sarah Ward Oldham, ancestor of the current owner Mark. The more background an item has, the more desirable it could be.
I've been looking to see if I can find a photograph of this flag actually flying outside Houghton Pagnell Hall. I can't, but I have found out that it seems this was quite a sort of normal thing for stately homes and halls to do. But Sarah took it even one step further. When the soldiers were sort of nursed back with them, gave them gifts, and then finally, when the war ended, she was awarded an MBE and a Royal Red Cross. What a lovely, lovely lady. All in recognition of her service at Houghton Pagnell Hall. It's items like these that tell a story about history that we must never forget.
Ecclesiastical locations are places Drew can often pick up items with huge historical provenance. And he's received an invitation to visit a cathedral 280 miles north in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is renowned for its rich history and George and Mary's Episcopal Cathedral. Boasting stunning neo-Gothic features, the church is run day to day by Vice Provost John McCluckie. He's hoping that Drew takes an interest in some of the treasures they're looking to clear out of the cathedral's vault.
St Mary's Cathedral was built in 1879 and was completed in a short space of 6 years. Although one or two of the major features of the building were added later, the two distinctive spires in the west side of the cathedral, which can be seen from every corner of the city pretty much. It is, in fact, the biggest religious building built in Scotland since the Reformation. Many of the features you can see of the cathedral are part of the original design, like the high altar, the organ, the woodwork.
With the church.
We're off to meet John, and they've given us a call. They've got a few things they want to clear out, because this sounds really old-fashioned. Sounds like the start of a joke. They need money for the church roof. Edinburgh Zoo, we've been there. We have. They let you out?
We haven't really had the pleasure of dealing with an antiques dealer here before, and it would be really interesting to see what an expert eye can tell us about some of the items that we have here.
Hello.
Welcome.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. How are you doing? I'm John.
I am T.
I'm John. Good to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. My pleasure. Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah, it's quite a space.
This is
isn't
quite
it?
an amazing space.
Yeah.
I have to say that this is one of the grandest religious buildings we've been asked into to buy things from. It was designed an absolute design genius. It's incredible, one man's vision, and this pure reformed Gothic taste that the building is in. The excitement of finding new things and learning about new design and who designed this and who designed that and how that's manufactured, it keeps me fresh. It really does. I love doing it.
So a few things to show you in here. So we have a few pieces in the safe here.
Okay.
If I pull it open for you. Here is damaged, but it's rather a very ornate crucifix, but as you can see,
nice.
It suffered a fair bit of damage over the
that's
years.
a shame.
The figures come off. This is a rather interesting historical piece, really. It was, according to the description on the back, it's a rather ancient icon of. It's not St George, although this will like him. It's probably one of the military saints from the Byzantine period. But hang on, we've got a name up here, haven't we? Saint Demetrius, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure exactly who. But the inscription on the back...
Bought from a Russian church during the Red Revolution in 1917 by a Greek merchant.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a bit sketchy, isn't it?
Very sketchy,
Yeah.
Very sketchy.
Yeah.
Icons are religious works of art, most commonly paintings from the Eastern Orthodox and certain Eastern Catholic churches. Russian icons can date from as far back as the 10th century. and though typically painted on wood, some, like this much later example, were made of copper or bronze.
These are not rare items, there's thousands of them around. They are collectible, and as we know, Russia is now a powerhouse with money, so they are buying back their old art as well. His face there, look at that face there. You can see the lance coming through there, all the way through, and then the splatter of blood.
Yes, it's very gory.
Yeah.
For which reason we probably wouldn't want to have it on show, but it's
if you want to sell it,
rather precious.
Antique dealer Drew Pritchard is at St Mary's Cathedral in the Scottish capital of Edinburgh.
there's always been a trade in ecclesiastical artefacts, whether they are religiously important or, from my side of things, decorative and useful.
He's been art and is seeing if there's a deal to be done.
His face there, look at that face there. You can see the lance coming through there.
For which reason we probably wouldn't want to have it on show, but it's
if you want to sell it,
precious. Yeah, I mean, I do think we need to look into that, and given its provenance and being a donation from a former bishop. But
yeah. If it comes on the open market, I'll definitely be interested.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
sure.
we'll certainly bear that in mind because it's.
But yeah, you need to check that you can.
We would.
If you can, I will.
Okay. Well, we'll look into that.
At the moment, they don't know whether they can sell it, so I don't want to get involved in it just yet. If and when they do sell it, I hope they call.
The Russian icon may not be for sale, but if this is typical of the historical items down here, Drew's expert eye is bound to spot other antiques worth.
Here of these ones.
In memory of Margaret Alice, daughter of N.G. Rector, January 1920. It's really nice. It's quite nice. It's just a flower vase, but of good shape. And then there's a pair. There is an inscription in full on the base of one of the vases and in part on the other. The inscription tells you of the story of the piece, why it was made. So the nice decorative piece with a little bit of history. This is an applied finish.
Right.
And then it's got sort of a very, very beautifully done pewter infill. See it?
Yes, I do.
This pair of lacquered brass vases dates from 1920 and carries a dedication in memorial of a local rector's daughter. The sides were hand-pressed and worked before being sold at around £250.
I think the most I can give you for those would be... I think I can get just over 200 quid for them.
Yeah.
Maybe 250. So I would give you 150.
Seems fair. Yeah.
Is that one all right?
That seems fair to me. Okay, thank you.
Okay. They're nice little things, you know, nice things. The size really makes them. And if you imagine them in the middle of a big kitchen table with some white flowers in, they'd look really beautiful.
Drew wants to head back up to the nave, where something caught his eye on the way in.
So you've got these chairs here.
Yes,
And these
yes.
here.
Yeah.
Tell me about these. These are lovely.
Well, they are. They're quite unusual, aren't they? I mean, I actually don't know much about them. I mean, we would be prepared to part with a couple of them, but we do use signature.
Oh, there you go. I'll put my glasses
monogram.
on. There you go. Yeah. SMC.
St Mary's Cathedral.
I think you might be onto something there. Yeah. They're nice, aren't they? The more I look at them, the better they get, actually. So,
They're surprisingly comfortable.
are
They
they?
are really comfortable. We do
You end up
use.
doing this because they're so tactile.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, some chairs have caught my eye. They're a different design, for sure. The X-frame and the base and everything, I really like the base. The armrests and back rest they're a bit chunky. They're not quite as stylish as the rest of the chair, but they sort of work. Very nice modern light colour to them as well, with a nice perfect provenance. They've even got it stamped underneath.
1960s. Simply constructed of beautiful light oak, they were used every Sunday for prayers. 2 of the 12 chairs are for sale, and as a pair could fetch around £600.
So I'm thinking £300 for a pair, and I'd be happy. That's fair.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
Yeah?
They are comfy. I see we sit in them every Sunday, so I can vouch for their comfortableness.
Having secured 2 pieces with excellent provenance, it's time for tea to load the van.
There is an enduring appeal for ecclesiastical antiques. And the one thing that you do get from buying from these ecclesiastical buildings and from churches, or whatever it is you get perfect provenance if you've got the piece that is designed for that building initially.
I've enjoyed getting to discover some new things about some of the features of the cathedral, and to learn a bit more about some of the objects we have here. So it's been a really good day, really enjoyable. It was very reassuring that Drew gave us a very clear understanding of why he gave us the price that he did for each of the objects.
No bad. That's Glasgow Scottish, that is. Edinburgh's like a little bit more like this. It was a fantastic day.
You're going to have this accent all the way back.
Oh, aye. Now these were made for... These were made for the cathedral.
Oh, I love
They're marked underneath St Mary's Cathedral.
Right.
Paid 300 quid for them.
For that church, cathedral, whatever. It does happen, and this is the proof, that sometimes their items are surplus to requirements. That we love.
Really, really nice pair of large flower vases.
I like those.
Aren't they good? Gav, just wipe their face, please.
I like the colour.
I like the colour. I think the colour's the best bit. You've got to imagine them in a nice, bright white kitchen full of flowers. They look fantastic. So, give them a wipe and get them straight online. That was all we got from there, really.
There, yeah.
That was the lot.
Perfect
And
provenance.
from there, that was all there was.
Next, Drew's heading over 300 miles away to Kent. He's visiting a house that's been in the same family for generations.
So we're off to see him from Shipping Money. It's an old Victorian house that's been in the family for about 300 years. And what I'm hoping is that it's one of those houses that's been in the family for so long. Hopefully there's some goodies lying around that have been squirreled away.
The estate of Mount Ephraim is 3 miles east of Faversham and has been looked after by the Dawes family since the 17th century. The house standing here today was built by shipping magnate Sir Edwin Dawes in 1878. It's now run by his great-great-great-grandson, William.
Sir Edwin was working in Glasgow and moved down. He did obviously rather well, hence the massive house he built. We are obviously very proud of the heritage and history of the family. It's very nice to have that history.
Drew's looking to salvage some of the estate's historical treasures.
My mum's a massive hoarder, so we have a basement full of stuff. We have various rooms that are just full of moved furniture, shall I say.
It's funny how the roads bring you to the back of the house.
Well, all that they wouldn't want, people trolling up to the back of the house with half a slide of bacon and all the firewood. The front is where you bring your mates. The back is where, to be honest with you, where we'd end up.
Yeah.
William. Drew, nice to meet you. How
Nice
you
to
doing?
meet you. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah, very well. Come this way. Yeah.
So, blimey, look at that.
Yeah,
Wow.
The brides love the staircase coming down.
Amazing. That's all cast iron, isn't it? What's unusual is this original finish. So they painted the cast iron to look like wood.
Yeah, well, I always thought it was wood.
Did you?
Yeah. My gran lived well into her 90s, certainly into her 80s. Her party trick was to slide down the banisters, which is was quite memorable.
The design of the interior of the house it's a real melting pot of different styles. Come in and you've got huge cast iron and painted decoration. You find this quite often in English houses where they basically nicked lots of different styles because it showed you had travelled, you'd been round the world, you understood all these different styles. It's very glamorous, that's for sure.
As Drew knows only too well, with any English country estate, the best antiques are likely to be found in the property's attics, cellars and dumping rooms.
This is one of our rooms full of old junk.
I love it when people say it's junk and think that. What I love deeply about coming to these houses is they have their so-called junk rooms. Now, I wish everybody had a junk room like this. They're just great. You go in and you think, look at this, how lucky am I? This is my job, to wander around people's houses and sift through their old stuff. Don't know about this chinoiserie card table again, side table. Hopefully it's got a drawer on one side. Yes, it does. It's a nice little side table. So it's a 19th century Chinese export or Japanese export side table. A little bit thick on the leg. So a lot of water damage to the top. Oh, and the caster's just fallen off now. Have you just bought it?
Offer accepted.
Yeah.
Chinoiserie refers to the European version of Eastern decoration or design, which became popular in the 18th century. This slightly later example from the 1800s has suffered some water damage, but still has the original paintwork and drawers. It could be
Desk set against a wall. Charming, but in quite ropey condition. Not great. Without that top on there, sort of £450. As it stands, £250 because of the damage.
I think it's just sitting in this room gathering dust, so I'm happy with that.
Deal. Fantastic. Thank you. Auntie, really like.
Next, Drew wants to check out the basement, where items from the house have been collecting for over 100 years.
Heading down into the dungeon, as I call it. Oh, and there's a dog down here.
Oh, hello. Oh, look at all this wine. Ooh, lovely.
We've never seen it unopened for so long.
No, we've never seen full ones, have we?
Pretty old stuff in here, I'd hazard a guess.
Yeah, look at this. Look at that for a beast of a thing. Completely
Sam has something he thinks could be in with a shot.
Another thing I know of down here is some old ornamental cannons.
Ah, little ones.
Yeah.
Little cannons.
4, 5 foot.
Are they on bases?
Yeah, I think wooden bases.
Yep, let's have a look. Oh, yeah.
So they used to sit outside the tea room until they were stolen one time. We obviously got them back, but after that they've come down here and stayed here.
Oh, great. You got a pair of them?
Definitely 2. There might be 3.
Really?
Yeah.
You just made my day. There's one there.
Yeah, another one there. Here's a third one.
Right. So you've got one pair of these.
Yeah.
And then one odd one.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Is at historic country estate Mount Ephraim in Kent, which has been in the same family for more than 300 years.
With these rooms, as I'm looking around, I'm able to walk in and go, oh, yeah, that and that. OK, let's start. Where do we start on the first thing? It's just time on the job, really. Remember, at any one time, everything becomes one man's junk. Oh, yeah.
Owner William has taken him down to a cellar to show Drew items long associated with the estate, and some particularly unusual pieces have caught his eye.
So you've got one pair of these,
yeah,
and then one odd one. Blimey. Now these, again, I think they're a similar cannon to that. Again, and I think these are real cannons. See where they've been sealed up there with lead?
Yeah.
They poured lead into it to stop them being used. Go all the way to the end of the cellar. These aren't decorative. These are cannons designed to repel people, kill things, and sink boats. They seized... No, it's not seized up. The frames that they're on, they've rotted in a way that's made them very beautiful. And it gives them a huge amount more age than the frames really are. Now, if those frames were in perfect, beautiful condition, I wouldn't like them as much because they wouldn't have the age. That oak, and it is oak, has rotted through, and it takes hundreds of years for a piece of oak to rot like that. I'm extremely excited by these.
These cast iron cannons are genuine 18th century naval guns, mounted on estate-made 19th or early 20th century oak carriages with cast iron wheels. Purchased by one of William's predecessors, they would have been a display of wealth and knowledge of naval warfare. Around £3,000.
How to value them is really tough. Now, if they're a pair of lawn cannon, ornamental lawn cannon, I can value them, that's no problem. Haven't got a clue. That one out there I think is worth 600 quid. These ones... What do you think, T?
I think they're bloody heavy.
All right, OK. I'll throw a bid in, £1,000.
For these two...
These two.
And 600...
That one, I think I can get 600 out of it, so I'd want to pay it a little bit less.
Yeah, sure.
Can we say 500 quid for that one? So 1,500 quid for the 3.
Yeah.
Done? Marvellous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm really, really sorry.
You're not really.
You can shoot me with them afterwards. Any history that can go with an item should be kept with it. So they've been here an awful long time. We will say this is where they've come from. It will go on the invoice when sold. So hopefully that will stick with them. And history is everything. So it might not add to the price, and it won't in this case. It really won't. But it will add to the story long term.
I think he was very fair and no complaints from me. It was easy.
I've done in. You have not done anything.
Hello.
You had loads of massive Polish fellas helping you.
We're really good.
Thank you, mate.
Well, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Thank you for showing. Have you, Cannon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. See you later.
Have a good journey.
With a good haul and some provenance to help them sell, Drew wants to get the antiques back to base as soon as possible.
Cannons.
Real cannons.
What's lovely about the cannons is that they came from a house that was built from the money made by shipping. So the history and the provenance just all tie up together so nicely. So basically you poured the gunpowder in there and there was a wick.
Yeah, roll the ball down the other end, pack it in, wallop.
The cannons are sent straight to Gav for some much-needed restoration.
Time for the operation.
They can't go on the website until the oak bases have been treated.
All the wood's not rotten, but it's quite old and it's decayed in places and it's all wobbly and the bolts not doing what they're meant to do, so we're going to put some hardener on them.
Gav starts by treating the bases with wood hardener. Made from extra strong resin, it soaks down into the wood.
Really, it's better than replacing it. The more authenticity you can keep with an item, the more money you're going to get for it, and the better it is, and the easier it is to sell. These have got to be strong enough to hold, like, I don't know, feels like 300 kilo cannon. Sits on that, it's just going to fall straight through it.
After leaving it to set, he enlists the help of Carl to see if the wood hardener has worked and the bases can take the weight of the cannons.
Is it worth strapping it to get a better lift on it? No,
You've only got to go there.
No, I can lift it. I'm not bothered about that. You've got a really heavy end.
They call me the guns for nothing.
Yeah, but you fire blanks. On 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. All right, that's my bit done.
With the cannons' bases hardened, they're then photographed and ready for sight.
Conservation job than restoration, and the lads have got it spot on.
Drew's judgment when securing items with provenance was right on the money, as the staff from Houghton Pagnell Hall swiftly sells to a dealer in Northern Ireland, purely because of its original label. The 2 chairs from St Mary's Cathedral go quickly too, purchased by a gallery owner who kits out his studio in central Paris with design-led mid-century furniture. A Beatrix Potter enthusiast from Birmingham buys the Peter Rabbit chairs for his grandson, where they'll be pride of place in a child's nursery again. And the single cannon shoots straight out of the door, bought by a private collector in Kent, who lives just 30 miles away from Mount Ethan.
Initially, and he tells me that he just had to have it. I possibly took a little bit of convincing initially, but now it's here. We both love it, and it's obviously quite a quirky item for us to have in our back garden. I guess for me, having a small baby, possibly there are other things that I would have looked to spend the money on, but now it's here. We really love it, and it's a part of our home now, and it's nice to own this part of history.